You do what you do for less selfish reasons?
Exactly. It's like Green Lantern explained to me earlier.
Don't say it.
We're above all that.
You heard it, folks. Straight from the source. The Justice League says we're better than you.
Yeah. Wait, no!
We're out of time. Tomorrow, more.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we are a few days away from the Snyder Cut dropping on HBO Max. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. The fans spoke, and finally their voices were heard by the execs over at Warner Media. We've got the Snyder Cut coming to HBO Max. Obviously, Zack Snyder had to leave the production, or maybe the finish of his Justice League movie due to some personal tragedies. Joss Whedon stepped in, and what we got was a very, very piss-poor Justice League movie. I think it was essentially disappointing across the board. Even Fatal J, who is not the most discerning movie critic, liked or didn't like the Justice League. That's how bad it was. So I definitely want to say, Fatal J, how are you doing? You have been one of the driving forces. You have been the conductor of the Snyder Cut movie.
I'm just a small worm in a big pond. I'm just glad this movie is here. I'm glad Zack Snyder can do something for his daughter that he lost. Oh, man, this is just awesome all around. This is big for the fans. The fans, they have a voice. Maybe this will trickle on to other media and other movies and other TV shows. This is a big thing. Even if you don't like Zack Snyder, even if you don't like the movies, this is a big deal for fans all over the world. This is a big victory.
So I am not the biggest fan. I think most people know that, but we're not here to debate that. I'm not here to describe all the things that were wrong with the Zack Snyder's DC. Whatever. I've done plenty of videos on this. Let's talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League and the things that he's not going to need to fix that Joss Whedon definitely got wrong. Some of the overhanging things that are kind of on it that, could this ruin the film? Let's see how it goes. And also just a couple of wild cards that we saw in the last trailer that definitely give you a vibe that something has certainly changed within this Zack Snyder Justice League movie. It does appear to be the end of the road, but who knows? Hey, if 100 million people go and subscribe to HBO Max to watch this movie, obviously we'll be getting more of the Zack Snyder DC universe. That is up, that's up in the air. I don't see it happening, but all right, Fatal J, obviously as one of the big voices of the Snyder Cut movement. Some people might call it a cult. Just put it out there. You have what?
I'm about to say, if it's a cult, I'm glad to be a disciple.
So you're ready to drink.
I drank all the Kool-Aid a long time ago, sir, and it's
it tastes good.
It's delicious.
All right, so this is coming out on Thursday. These are like three of the things that absolutely have to be addressed. The first thing is that Steppenwolf villain. It was the most generic, boring villain in the history of the world. Another part of the problems with Steppenwolf was he looked way too similar to Hades in that Wonder Woman movie. He also looked way too similar to the original villain in the Thor movie, even though it was kind of like a metal version of that villain. There was no personality to him. He was just generic villain. Do you think Zack Snyder can do anything to improve Steppenwolf and the overall villainy in the movie?
Yes, sir, I sure do. This is the thing right here. Sorry for the long pause. Internet stuff. The reason why they changed that to that boring Steppenwolf character with the man-like face or whatever is because the WB execs thought that Zack Snyder original Steppenwolf was too scary for the children. So they gave him that face. And I always thought it was weird. The guy that's doing the Steppenwolf voice, I thought that was Liam Neeson. That's not Liam Neeson. Did you know that?
Never thought it was Liam Neeson.
That sounds just like Liam Neeson, a.k.a. Qui-Gon from Star Wars. But, yeah, that's the thing about the Steppenwolf. Now, this Steppenwolf that you're going to see in this movie, more brutal, more murderous, and have demonistic features. You can't beat that.
So they've improved the look. I've seen the trailer. He still looks too much like Hades, but they couldn't completely redesign it. It wasn't in the budget. They probably didn't have time. But what they can do is probably take some of the scenes that were cut, add some more motivation to the character, and make him more ominous and a more imposing threat to the Justice League.
Yeah, and then on top of that, with this movie being longer, you can give the villain a background. You can give him a story. You got to think, back in the caveman days, we sat around fires and we listened to stories. That's all TV is. That's all YouTube is. We want to hear good stories, whether they negative or whether they good. It's how you deliver it and how the writers give us the story, how the writers do show their skills on the story. That's what it's all about. So even if he look like an Oompa Loompa, give us a good story. You give us a good story, a good background on this character, people are going to like it.
All right, so that is the first thing that needs to be addressed. The next thing, I'm hoping Zack Snyder was able to address these, and maybe we'll get a good movie, and I'll be happy that I saw it, is Ezra Miller's Flash. He's not Barry Allen. He's not Wally West. He's just some weird spaz Ezra Miller Flash. So annoying, and not in a good way. There are annoying characters that you like Will Ferrell in a lot of his movies where he's a supporting character is annoying, but he's lovable and you like it. This Ezra Miller Flash was the most grating, terrible live action adaptation of probably any superhero I've ever seen. It was awful. Do you think that Zack Snyder has it within him to actually fix that character and not make him so hateable?
Yes. I think, like I said before, if you give the character more of a background,
I don't think it's about the background. I think it's the portrayal of who the character that Ezra Miller was playing. So eminently hateable.
I
So
do admit
spastic.
that.
So many stupid ticks. He was not Barry Allen. He wasn't Wally West. He was Ezra Miller in a Flash costume. Can he get a performance out of him to at least channel Barry Allen or Wally West?
You definitely, absolutely, 100%, 1,000% right. The Ezra Miller we saw in the Joss Whedon version was straight boo-boo, straight trash, straight garbage. But this is the thing about it. If you give us more of a background and give us a story and not give us all the time that quirky, goofy Ezra Miller Flash and give him an arc and give him some relatable stuff and he go through flaws, he can be more tolerable. Because like I said, it goes all the way back to what I said. Human beings love a great story. They love a great story. If you got a fantastic story and the CGI is garbage, is trash, people will still tolerate that movie. Look at Star Wars. Look at the first Star Wars. Even though that was top of the line technology, it still was garbage CGI and technology, and people still loved it. Now, why is you looking?
That was groundbreaking. No one had ever seen a movie that looked like that believable before in that moment.
I guess you're right.
not the greatest analogy,
but I mean, on some of that stuff, you can see the strings and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, but this was in 1977.
But what I'm saying at the end of the day, the Star Wars story was dope. Because think about it. If you had great CGI and had a bad story, that's a bad movie. Yeah. If you got great story, bad CGI, that's a tolerable movie. Yeah, it's all about the story.
The Transformers sequels. So you think the best that Zack Snyder probably can do with Ezra Miller's Flash is tolerable. I agree with you. I think that it was poor casting. I think they could go back, they would undo it, but you can't do that now. He is the Flash.
I will agree. Now, I definitely agree. Real quick, I definitely agree when it comes to Zack Snyder. Y'all know I love Zack Snyder, but Ezra Miller is
yes.
He I think the Flash that's on the TV show,
Grant Gustin,
he's a tad bit better.
Absolutely, he's more Wally West than Barry Allen, but he's much more of a Flash. So the other thing that I think was completely whiffed in that first Justice League movie, and there's a lot of whiffs. I'm talking about the big three ones, is the return of Superman after his death in the Batman versus Superman movie. It was so weird. The CGI mustache, he didn't look right. It was just poorly executed all around. That moment needs to be powerful. It needs to resonate with people. It needs to send goosebumps up your spine as a big defining moment of the movie. That was a huge whiff by Joss Whedon. Not sure how much of that had to do with what Zack Snyder had already filmed. Do you think Zack Snyder has it in him to give that moment the gravitas that it deserved?
Yes, I do, because he made Man of Steel. Man of Steel was some powerful stuff. Now, I know you think differently. You think Man of Steel sucks. But I feel like Zack Snyder, he can pull it off. He can give us the Superman that we adore. Now, I will say this. Even though I'm a big Zack Snyder fan, I love Zack Snyder films. I will say this. I've always thought this, and people, you can throw your darts at me later. I always felt like the death of Superman should have been his own movie in itself. If you go back, if
Dark
you,
Knight Returns and the death of Superman into one movie was not a good idea.
People may argue with me, but I still believe when you look at the greatest Superman story told, now this is just Fatal J. Death of Superman is one of the most dope Superman stories, period. And that could have been a whole movie in itself. Matter of fact, 2 movies. Because you can do the death of Superman, he died, bring back the other Superman, and then at the end of the movie, bring back the real Superman and he saved the day.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you on that.
I've always been like that with Death of Superman, Doomsday being in BVS. But I love BVS. So see, Fatal J is not a Shield boy, a Shield fanboy like you thought he was.
You're truly complicated, Fatal D. You know why we're calling you Fatal D?
Why you calling me that, sir?
Because you're the Fatal Diva. We've been supposed to do this debate for weeks now. You never can show up. It's always got plans. He's the diva of thinking critic.
When the times I wanted to do it, can't do it.
It's hard to get 4 people together for a stream like that.
Yeah.
With the comics aficionados, it works because it's essentially the exact same time every single week, and then I book it out weeks ahead of time. But we just never could get that debate. But that is another topic. And
we always have the first one, though.
Yes, absolutely. And you are the Fatal Diva because of that. All right, so let's talk about some overhanging issues over the production, specifically with what Zack Snyder's Justice League is. Ray Fisher, obviously, he is not happy. He's made some serious allegations without a lot of detail to them. Suppose there was an investigation. He did not get the outcome I think that he was looking for, and it sounds like, from everything that we've heard, that he is gone. They don't want to work with Ray Fisher anymore. Do you think that Warner Brother came down on Zack Snyder and said, hey, you need to maybe get some less screen time for Ray Fisher's Cyborg? Or do you think they just let him have carte blanche, even though he has been seemingly a thorn in the side of Warner Brother and their executives?
No, I think Zack is actually riding with Ray. I feel like he's not going to get any cuts out of this movie. Zack Snyder has always stuck by his word and said Ray Fisher is the heart of the Snyder Cut film. I seen the movie. By the time people see this, I don't seen it.
It's coming up tomorrow, man.
Huh?
It's going to be up tomorrow.
That's what I mean. By the time people see this, I don't know. I've already seen the movie. And Cyborg is throughout this movie. Trust me, you're going to know Cyborg by the end.
Cyborg was the only thing executed in the first Justice League movie that I thought was good. I was shocked.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm not spoiling nothing. But when you look at the whole Justice League members, Cyborg in the Snyder Cut was the most interesting character out of all of them, which I'm shocked because you would think it would be world finest, Superman and Batman, but no, it go to Cyborg. It goes to Cyborg.
So you think Ray Fisher? There will be no backlash. Zack Snyder is going to give us the Cyborg that he always wanted, with no interference from the Warner Brother guy.
No interference. Now, I feel like the Snyder Cut, if it does what it's predicted to do, and people really love this, and HBO Max getting a lot of subscribers, I feel like it's going to mess up DC's game plan, because the game plan was to leave Zack Snyder alone and focus on a new DC where they focus not on a team like the Avengers or Justice League, but focus on solo and get those up, and then maybe do a Justice League. But when they do these solo movies, they're supposed to have no remnants of Zack Snyder on them, like Wonder Woman 84. But we all know what happened to Wonder Woman 84.
Was not all that good. So another thing, it's a dark cloud hovering over this Justice League Snyder Cut movie on HBO Max is the runtime. 4 hours. Seems egregious. 4 hours plus. Far too long. And it's supposed to be one feature-length movie. Do you think people are ready for a 4-hour feature-length superhero team-up movie?
If you binge Cobra Kai, then you can binge this movie. And if you can't binge this movie, I've seen this movie.
You're comparing Cobra Kai and Justice League.
I'm just saying, if Netflix is a binge streaming service, people binge the shows. I've seen a show land on Netflix and then 8 hours later, somebody do a review on YouTube, several reviews. That's a binge show. That's their motto. But this is basically what I'm saying. If you have the binge culture of Netflix, then surely you can handle a 4 hour. 4 hours is 4 episodes of Cobra Kai. That's easy. And this is the thing right here. If you can't binge it, the beautiful thing about this movie, Zack Snyder cut it up in chapters. So he made it like a freaking book. So you can watch part 1, and when part 2 literally comes up on the screen with a title, when that show up on the screen, turn it off and go with your day. Go out and go to the park or something.
So you don't think the 4-hour runtime is a barrier for movie fans?
It's genius what he did with it. You can binge it if you want to, or you can stop at that chapter, put a bookmark on it, and keep it moving and go on with your day. I'm more
skeptical about people's excitement for a 4-hour movie than you are.
Man, I just explained, if you can't do 4 hours.
JFK felt unseemly, and it was only 3.5 hours.
Look here. Have you ever read a book and finished it one day?
Remember when you used to get an old movie and it was long and it came with two video cassettes? This movie would come with 3. Come on.
This is, in fact, the longest superhero movie. Yes, it is. It's very long. It's very long.
All right,
but hopefully to the viewers, it's so good you won't notice the time like Fatal J.
We'll see. Stranger things have happened. There are a couple of wild cards. Some things that maybe the ideas were introduced in that first Justice League movie, which was a pile of trash, that feel like they're going to be expanded upon. Now, we already talked about what a shitty villain Steppenwolf was. It looks like we're going to see a lot more Darkseid. Hopefully, he's the main villain and not just a flashback character. I will give him this. From what I've seen in the trailer, Darkseid looks good. Shockingly good. Kudos to whoever pulled that off. The character looks right.
People,
do you think we're going to get it? Are people going to get enough Darkseid to satiate their appetite for a real, actual villain in this movie?
I don't want to give away nothing in the movie. I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody, but you're going to see some Darkseid. That's the best way I can put it. You're going to see some Darkseid. And that's the best way I can put it without spoiling it for nobody. You're going to see some Darkseid.
Is it all flashbacks?
No.
Well, there you go. That's good news. So that is a welcome addition to the movie, because something needed. You not only did you need to beef up Steppenwolf, you needed to beef up the stakes in the movie. And Darkseid absolutely brings stakes to a movie.
And you're right. You're definitely right. Steppenwolf alone, you definitely need a bigger baddie behind Steppenwolf. Nobody in DC knows about Steppenwolf. I mean, nobody in the what they say, the normies. The normies don't know about Steppenwolf like that. They know about Lex Luthor. They know about Darkseid. They know about the main people, Joker. They know about those type of people. They don't know about Steppenwolf. So you definitely need a bigger baddie that the audience know in this movie. So kudos to Zack.
One of the things that the MCU was really smart about was they had a really charismatic, likable villain in Loki, and they were able to use him to introduce Thanos, which a lot of normies would not have been, all that aware of. And they were able to introduce the idea of Thanos. They showed them Gauntlet. People go and look for it, and they know who Thanos is, and they use that as an introduction. And hopefully, maybe DC takes a little bit of that. We use Steppenwolf. Now people know who he is. They know they were disappointed use him to introduce Darkseid, and people are more excited because we get a more fully fledged dangerous villain.
Yep.
Now, the last wild card hanging over this, obviously, I don't think a lot of people saw this coming in the final scene of that trailer, is Jared Leto's Joker showing up. What the hell is Joker? Are we finally going to see the Joker that we all wanted instead of the just little bit player that he was in Suicide Squad?
It's going to be very interesting what you see come from Jared Leto's Joker. That's the best way I can put it without spoiling nothing. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very different.
All right. Are there other cameos? I know there's a lot of talk that maybe we would see the Green Lantern show up from the movie that was so bad from Ryan Reynolds. Is that Green Lantern in this movie?
I'm going to put it like this, and this is not a spoiler. Zack Snyder said it himself. Green Lantern would not be in this movie. Sorry to bust.
So there was a Green Lantern in the first movie.
It's Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
There.
Like they were Thanagarians in the first movie. You just I don't think it was Hawkman.
But
it was a Green Lantern, but it was generic Green Lantern going across the screen.
Generic Green Lanterns that you don't know a freak about.
Okay.
But I'm not spoiling nothing on this end because Zack Snyder have said in the past, he have said in magazines, he said a few weeks ago, Green Lantern is not in this movie. Don't look forward to see Hal Jordan, John Stewart, none of them joints. Kyle Rayner, you're not going to see none of them. So I don't want nobody to get their hopes up. But
are there any cameos people should be looking out for?
Yeah, you're going to see something dope. You're going to see a dope character. I'm not going to give it away, but you're going to see something dope in there, okay? It's going to be a good trade-off of Green Lantern not being in there. Put it like that.
We'll see. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Fatal J. I think if Zack Snyder fixes all these things and he handles the Ray Fisher thing fine, the 4-hour runtime isn't as unseemly as I think. He incorporates Darkseid, and the Joker reveal is pretty cool. I still pretty sure I'm not going to like this movie because the original Justice League was so bad. I don't think that there was enough. There's not a director or an editor skilled enough to take the remnants of the carcass of that piece of crap and turn it into anything that I would ever like. Although I am going to invest apparently 4+ hours of my life into this, and likely a little bit more time telling you how much I hated the movie afterwards.
Well, you should, because now you can see the intended version of this movie. Not the let's fix this up so it can look good to Marvel fans, or this movie can look like a Marvel movie. You're going to see the true intentions of a Justice League movie that's intended to stand on its own, not be a copy of Marvel, and take it like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not. My hopes are not high.
You probably gonna hate it. You'll hate it anyway. I know.
I have a discerning eye for good cinema, sir.
No, you don't, man. You have the total opposite opinions of movies.
Yeah, because you don't have it. You're like, ooh, Fast and the Furious. It's amazing, and I'm going, wow, they've lost every element that was cool about.
I don't like the movies now. I do like the first 3, but after that, no, man.
All right, we found some common ground, Fatal J.
And the new Fantastic, the Fast and Furious, isn't they swinging from branches with the cars? They swinging from branches. Like,
I don't think they're going Tarzan. Like,
yes, they are. It's a scene where they're on a bridge. The bridge collapsed, and somehow they tied the vine around the wheel, and the car is swinging.
Why would they need to do that? If you had The Rock, you can just do it with one hand, because he's the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment today.
It's stupid, man.
It is stupid.
That's mind-numbing cinema.
All right, are we going to talk about this, or are we going to?
Yeah,
are we going to have a? We're going to come together on Friday and talk about this. Am I going to be eating crow? All right, we'll try and do it on Friday. I'm going to. If it's good, I'm going to be honest with you.
Let's do it Friday. We can do it Friday.
Right, we'll do it Friday. So hopefully you're ready for the Snyder Cut. The long wait is over. The people's voices have been heard. You're getting it. It's going to be here. There's definitely some things that need to be addressed. Shocker, Fatal J has already seen the movie. He thinks that Zack Snyder has fully addressed most of this stuff and done the best that he could with what was left over. We shall see. And we'll see you on Friday when I'm telling Fatal J that he was absolutely wrong.
Bye bye.